Hi, this is Mark Wade from CenterCityCondos.com at Prudential Fox and Roach. And in this podcast, I'd like to talk about my experience about how condo auctions work here in Center City, Philadelphia. Now, I've had a lot of experience with condo auctions. A lot of my buyers were very successful in snagging units at the Murano and at the Phoenix. And condo auctions are just like any other auctions, if you've ever been to one before. A lot of the rules are established up front. They're printed. It's quite clear about how the auctioneer will proceed. And the auction rules and how the auction itself goes is really contingent upon the auction house that's holding that auction. Now, there's one company out of Boston called Accelerated Marketing who did the Phoenix and the Murano, and also they're doing Waterfront Square. And here's how it works. First, they have one rule, and that is if you want to have me represent you, and please know that my services are free to you, buyer representation, if I show you the property, my fees are paid by the developer or the auction house. You don't pay, it doesn't cost you anything to have me go along, show you the units, and then give you my 2 cents on what are the strong units, what are the weaker units, and the ins and outs and strengths and weaknesses of the particular building. But let's talk about one in particular that's coming up. Let's talk about Waterfront Square. Okay, so you find information on the auction, you call me, and you and I set an appointment to go look at the property. I have to escort you through the building on the very first time that you see it during the auction period. If you've seen it a year before, it doesn't matter. I can take you. But you cannot go to the auction, the units that are being auctioned without me, and then try to include me later. They won't allow it. So we simply go in, we register you for 5 minutes, you write me down as your representative, and then we go look at some condo units. And generally when there's an auction being held, there's a variety of units being auctioned off as they try to pull in the widest variety of buyers. So they'll have 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, maybe 2 bedroom and den, all kinds of price ranges. And basically what I suggest to my buyers is you pick out your top, let's say 4 units that you like, and you rank them. Okay, this is and you kind of get a sense of how far and how much you want to bid on that unit. And the day before, you have to so you and I are pre-registered. Now, there's a little piece of paper in the brochure that you have to turn into the auction house prior to you going to the auction, so that they can get an idea of how many people are going to be there and who's going to be bidding on what and all that kind of stuff. No information is revealed beforehand. We know which units are going to go for sale, but we don't know how much they're going to go for. The day before the auction is a practice auction. Now, I think Accelerated Marketing Partners does an excellent job. They're a very professional company. This is what they do for a living. All the rules and regulations are laid out. And at the practice auction, I think it's a really good, they'll tell you how the auction is going to proceed. Generally, when you have 35 units to auction off, they say in the brochure it's going to take an hour and a half. No, it's going to take 2 hours. That's my experience. But at the practice auction, what they're going to do is they're just going, everyone's going to sit in a room and they're going to hand out paddles, and they'll have up on the screen behind them like unit 1412 or unit 1409, whatever. This is a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 861 square foot unit, never lived in, includes parking. And the minimum bid is $195. Do I hear $195? And then they go off from there. And then somebody raises their paddle, and then they go to $200. Do I hear $200? And somebody raises their paddle. Generally, what they do is they go up in $5,000 increments. When there's just 2 bidders left, and the bidding is certainly slowed down, they go in $1,000 increments. Now, what's interesting is they'll say going once, going twice, and then you'll see another paddle go up. Once they say going once, twice, 3 times, sold, believe me when I tell you that unit is sold. You cannot raise your paddle and say, I'll go up 5,000. You're out of luck. They're done. They're done with that unit. That unit is sold. The buyer who got that unit, they'll point to them, they'll escort them out of the room, and they go do their paperwork. Now, in order to get to this auction at Waterfront Square, you need to bring with you a $10,000 certified check to get into the room. Into the room where the auction's happening on the day of the auction, you need to be pre-registered. You need a certified check for $10,000 because that's what you put down. And then if you are the successful bidding winner of a specific unit, You then have a personal check. You have to turn over then and there the $10,000 check and a personal check so that the balance is 10% of the sale price. And then you go and you get your mortgage, and 30 days later you settle. They have an in-house financing company, which I'm usually not a fan of these finance companies that I've never heard of before. But when you're at an auction, I always suggest to buyers use their mortgage company because they've already looked at the property, they've already approved it. If normally you go to buy a condo and there's a list of 20 things you need, generally on these lenders, that list is cut in half. They've already ruled out, they've already done their homework and their due diligence, and they're ready, willing, able to lend on these. All settlements have to happen within 30 days of the auction. So you go in. You've got your certified check, you've got your other check to make up the 10% of the price, and you just bid. And my experience is that the first couple that go up for auction, everybody's really excited, so you get lots of bids. And then towards the middle of the auction, people are a little less motivated. And then at the very end, the last two that sell, people are desperate, so then they bid. So and I could be wrong here, but it's just my experience and what I've garnered that is that the first couple that go for some good prices, the middle units are a little less, and the end units are kind of high again because people are a little desperate there. Interesting, fun scenario. I like the auctions a lot. They're and there's some pretty good values. These at Waterfront Square. Now, these are minimum bid auctions again, so there's a minimum price on there, but it's called an absolute auction. That means if nobody bids above the minimum price, but somebody puts in an offer on a one bedroom for $195, that's the minimum price on some of these one bedrooms, they get it. So, but the bidding will go up from there. So that's it. Questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I'm Mark Wade, CenterCityCondos.com at Prudential Fox and Roach, 215-521-1523. Know that not all the units at Waterfront Square, in my opinion, are created equal. And some units, although it may be an 09 unit, there's one on the 14th floor and one on a different floor, there are pluses and minuses to the same sized unit, and you have to ask yourself, ask me rather, and let me throw my 2 cents in on what I believe the strongest units are that are going to go for the best prices, and who knows? I'm forecasting, but hopefully I can throw my 2 cents in as far as my experience, not only in auctions, but as far as my knowledge of Waterfront Square is concerned. So there you go. Questions, comments, or concerns? Pick up that telephone, give me a call, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you very much.